Nintendo's first 4K live stream, and there's already audio glitches and frames, whatever. Towards the end, you missed like the first 30 seconds of the Final Fantasy remake on Switch 2. But hey, Switch 2 is finally out. We have all of the details, and my goodness, I'm excited and disappointed at the same time. So, unfortunately, no OLED. We're still going back to LCD, but we're getting an HDR 120 Hz screen on the handheld itself, which is incredible. You'll be able to play certain games like the new Metroid Prime game, which I've never played any of them, at 4K or 1080 120, so that's cool. You can play 4K on the dock, you can play 1080 max on the handheld itself, and you have HDR now. That's really, really cool. The Switch 2 dock is now essentially turning the Switch 2, from my understanding, into like a PS4. So you have 120 Hertz, you can with a handheld, but with the dock you can do 4K 60, which that's still awesome. Again, if your TV supports it, obviously. 4K 60 on a device like that is awesome because you can play games like Elden Ring, Cyberpunk on your Switch 2 and then also take it on the go. So now, to me, it negates the need for multiple systems, or at least we're one step closer of negating the need for multiple systems. Literally, the only reason I have a PS5 is to play the PS5 Spider-Man game. Everything else I play is on the Switch. I just played Star Wars Outlaws on the PS5 because it's not on anything else right now that I have. But if I had the Switch 2, I would have bought it on the Switch 2. Same with games like Cyberpunk. So now that the Switch 2 is a thing, once I finally get one, it'll be PS5 is just my Spider-Man machine because that's the only exclusive I care about. And then the Switch 2 would do everything else. We're one step closer to just having one console. It'll be much cleaner, and it's a handheld as well. So I can take it on a vacation. I can take it anywhere. It now goes from the 7.2 inch screen on the Switch OLED to an 8-inch, it's like a 7.9 inches, almost 8-inch screen on the Switch 2, which that's gonna be really nice. There was a video of somebody holding it handheld and playing it, and it looked massive in her hands. That sounded weird. And I'm really excited for that. That's gonna make handheld gaming so much better. I am concerned about the lack of OLED now, but I could be wrong because LCD, HDR, 120, 1080p, it might look better than a 720p OLED screen. I don't know. I'm not that much into screens. I don't know. So again, curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. We are getting some game upgrades. So Pokemon Legends ZA is coming out on the Switch 1, which I'm so excited for. And blessings that it's not on the Switch 2 exclusively because I'm not going to buy one anytime soon. But Legends ZA is on the Switch 1, and you could, if you buy a Switch 2 a couple of months later, then you can play Legends ZA on the Switch 2 and the Switch 1 model version, or you can pay an extra, I don't know, $10, $15 and get the expanded Switch 2 edition, which gives you essentially better features like upscaling, 4K, 120 Hertz if the game supports it, things like that. And then in some games, you can also use new features like mouse support. I'm assuming Breath of the Wild is going to have a lot of graphical quality when you buy the Switch 2 edition. It's gonna also have some mouse support, things like that. And that'll be like an extra $10, $15 to buy the upgrade, even if you already own the game, which is kind of crap. When the PS5 first came out, they did like PS4 upgrades to a PS5 version of the game, even if you only had the PS4 disc, and it was free. Like I played 120 hours of Assassin's Creed Valhalla on my PS4 Pro. I got the PS5, got the free upgrade, and did the rest of Valhalla on the PS5 with the PS5 specs. And that's really cool. That was really cool that Sony did that. Xbox has been doing that too. So of course, Nintendo has to come along and charge you for it because why wouldn't they? Nintendo also announced essentially their version of Astrobot for the Switch, but naturally you have to pay for it. It's gonna be a paid tech demo. So that sucks. So that's really interesting. But all of that tied into a bow of the Switch 2, once you own it, once you've shelled out the money for the Switch 2, you now have it. It's a system that's going to do everything you need. Yeah, the games that they've announced for it, like Final Fantasy Remake, Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, they're like 4 years old. And so these aren't the newest games. It's not gonna be as good as maybe a PS5, but we're not expecting that. The fact that it's PS4 or PS4 Pro levels is enough for me. That's really, really cool. The games, on the other hand, are a different story. Sounds like Mario Kart World is going to be $80 for the digital. I'm assuming $90 for the physical. That's a bit much. Going from 60 to 80 or 90, that's wild. So, I don't know. It honestly makes it cheaper to buy Legend ZA, the Switch version, than pay an extra $10, $15 for the Switch 2 version. Saves you $15 just to do it like that instead of buying the Switch 2 edition right off the bat. So, I don't know. They haven't announced all the prices for all of the games because it looks like the new Donkey Kong game is only going to be $70 instead of 80 or 90. And so we don't really know yet. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you excited about the Switch 2? Are you disappointed about the Switch 2? My expectations were at the very bottom, but I was cautiously optimistic. And I was surprised. I was blown away. I'm very excited. I'm a very simple gamer. I just play Pokemon, Star Wars, Persona, and Xenoblade, and Spider-Man. And so the Switch 2 is probably going to be the perfect game console for that. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm Jake. This shot on my phone.